There's a lot of steps, and I'll go through some of them in my presentation. And each of those individual steps may not amount to much, but when you enumerate them, when you sum them up all together, it's a considerable more amount of work. Consider this, at HKUST, we have no less than 3 teams, one from the Computer Science Department, the Center for Enhanced Learning and Teaching, and also the Publishing Technology Center. 3 teams, not very big, 2-3 people, but 3 teams working together with me to make this MOOC a reality. A bit about myself. I'm an associate professor in the Division of Social Science at HKUST. I've taught a virtual course before. That was a course in which there was a video camera placed at the back of the room. They recorded my lectures and put them online. I've also had experience teaching large classes, not massive. The venue that we have at HKUST, the biggest venue we have is of 400 students. I've taught 400 students frequently, regularly. So I understand some of the challenges faced when you have a large group of students in your class. However, that said, this was my first experience of creating a tailor-made course for a large online audience. And the course itself was also partially new. I had in the beginning, the title of my course offered on Coursera was Science, Technology, and Society in China. I've been teaching classes at HKUST in Science, Technology, and Society, Science, Technology, and Business, Science, Technology, and Work. But this is Science, Technology, and Society in China, so it's partially new. Okay, I'm going to go through a few challenges that I faced, that anyone who's considering offering a MOOC will probably face. First of all, are you ready? Are you comfortable having tens of thousands of students, of eyes, of pairs of eyes look at you continuously and scrutinize your every single move? Okay, at its height, I had 21,000 students in my class, regularly about 17,000. So that's 34,000 eyes, 42,000 eyes looking at you continuously. There was a big discussion that went on my course discussion forum, in which several students said, can the professor stop saying okay so frequently? And then students were saying, no, it's okay to say okay. And some students saying, it's not okay to say okay. And I spent a few hours reading that. So the point is, that are you prepared to have people look at you and scrutinize you for every move, not just content related, not just educational related, but everything and anything else, your haircut, your shirt, how you speak, your accent. All of that matters when you're offering a MOOC, because there's thousands of people looking at you, and these thousands of individuals come from everywhere, and I'll get to that in my last point here. Are you also prepared to teach some perhaps super smart individual who comes out your course content related flaws? So in terms of your content, if you make a slip up, you have a mental blockage when you're recording, you say something incorrectly, you present a figure as it shouldn't be presented, or you have a map that's slightly wrong, students are going to pick up on that. Are you prepared to have students pick out your every little flaw and then accept it, apologize, change, re-record that part, change the lecture material, back up? Are you prepared to do that? Or are you going to be obstinate about it? And if you're going to be obstinate, perhaps a MOOC is not the right platform for you to be working on. So the point is, you just don't know who your audience is, and who they are, what their backgrounds are, and why they're taking the course. As an instructor at HKUST, I'm accustomed to teaching students with predictable ranges. Undergraduates are 18 to 22-year-olds, right? We have international students, the majority are from Hong Kong, we have some mainland Chinese. I have an understanding, I have a feeling, I have a sense of who these people are. I know how to communicate with them, I know how to talk to them. What examples I give will rub them the right way. What examples will they not relate to? I know these things. If I teach postgraduate students, I know their background. But with a MOOC, these students are all over the place, not just geographically, in terms of age, in terms of background, in terms of geography, in terms of academic training, in terms of, are they sane? Some of them seem insane to me when I read their comments online. They just seem a bit crazy. And maybe they are. You just don't know. Are you prepared to have that? And these are your students. These are your students. Might be a 6-year-old child who's doing it, right? And they're just as entitled to post comments on the forums and write to you and all of that. Are you prepared for that? In terms of practical challenges, 1 hour of MOOC preparation took me about, 1 hour of MOOC recording took me about 9 hours of preparation time. Preparing lecture materials, getting to know the technology, recording, everything included. About 1 hour of lecture time took about 9 hours of preparation time. Are you sure you're not camera shy? Your recordings will be cut. I mean, you don't have to make them perfect. It doesn't have to be a news presentation or a drama series on TV, but it has to be relatively well done. It has to be relatively well done. And in order for it to be relatively well done, we're not trained as people to work in front of the camera. Are you prepared to cut your recordings 2, 3, 4, 5 times? Your throat dries out, your patience dries thin, your enthusiasm for the subject wanes, your shoulders start drooping. Are you prepared during your recordings to stand up, forthright, upright, be enthusiastic about it as you were in the beginning? Because this is what happens, practically speaking, when you're trying to record for a movie. I also had to learn how to teach a video camera and treat the video camera as my sole student, as a best student, because there's no one else. I'm accustomed to teaching a room with people, with real people. There are no real people. There's just 1 or 2 people standing behind the camera. Right? And I have to treat that person as my best student, be enthusiastic, and I have to talk to the camera. Are you prepared to do that? I also used the technology, a mini iPad, which relayed the slides onto the screen. I had to learn how to use that. It's the first time I was using it, so there was some learning involved for me with that as well. In terms of time-related challenges, we usually teach in 60-minute blocks, or 80-minute blocks, or 90-minute blocks. So I was accustomed to teaching in 80 minutes, or 90 minutes, or 60-minute blocks as well. My course content, my ways of thinking, my ways of delivering material, I give examples, I frame my subject matter so that it's deliverable in 60 minutes. Here, I had to do it in no more than 15-minute chunks. 15-minute chunks, and that was a real challenge. It doesn't seem like much. Hey, just cut it, and then, whatever you do in 60 minutes, just do four of those, and it's 15 minutes. It's not the same. You have to be able to deliver a cohesive, cogent body of knowledge within 15 minutes. You have to think about how do you deliver something that you've been accustomed to delivering in 80 minutes within 15. It's not necessarily easy. For every chunk, I had a short quiz in my lecture material. For every quiz, I provided detailed information about why the wrong answer was wrong, why the right answer was right. And for every week, I created an end-of-week assignment, which was 200 to 500 words of length. And for each of these assignments, I had to create detailed assessment rubrics. So I think the idea that I'm trying to convey in these last few bullet points here is that there's a lot of upfront preparation that went into it. Usually when you teach a class, you can sort of get away with teaching a class, preparing as the class progresses. You prepare for a couple of weeks, you deliver a couple of weeks, you prepare for another week, you deliver that, and you do things simultaneously. You do the preparation and the execution simultaneously. But here, everything had to be done to the perfect standard right before the course went live. Another time-related challenge was related to the discussion forum. I think you probably need help if you're thinking of doing a MOOC to read the discussion forum, because there's a lot of discussion forums, including a whole thread of comments as to why the professor says okay so much, but other forums where we're talking about course content-related material, examples that people are sharing with one another. It takes a lot of time to go through the discussion forums. And how about individual emails? I have 17,000 students. I received hundreds of emails from students asking me this, that, and the other. Do I respond to them immediately? Do I respond to them in length? Do I respond to them courteously? And if you do, it all takes time. It's not, it doesn't just happen. All of this takes time. And also to make sure that you check, recheck, and recheck your material to eliminate possible errors. Because the idea that I had, and I think anyone who's thinking of offering a MOOC should have, is that you're doing this for the best and smartest and most enthusiastic student that there is in the world. Not in PolyU, not in UST, not in Hong Kong U, not in CU, but in the world. Okay, that's your target. I chose not to have a helper. Someone helped me with the course in the first offering, because I deliberately wanted to get stuck in and know the challenges, know the difficulties, know the time constraint, the effort and time involved, the commitment involved, so that when I do it once, I will have a better idea to be able to direct someone. Without having the knowledge myself, in the first instance, I don't think I'll be well positioned to be able to direct a TA to help me do this. Nothing should be sloppily done. I've said this. Thousands of students scrutinizing every slide, every word, every quiz, every assignment. Your wording, why did you word your quiz this way? Wouldn't it have been clearer to word your quiz this way? Things that you not necessarily have thought about, but it's true. It's true. They say, I didn't understand your quiz. It was not clear. You should have worded it this way. So you should prepare as if you're preparing for the best student. And also in terms of look and demeanor, I bought 2 new shirts deliberately for my MOOC. I had my hair cut before my video recording, just so that I looked, as presentable as I could be. It's funny, but I did do all of those things. These video lectures, these 15-minute chunks of video lectures, have their limitation. So you have to do your best and to be entertaining as you can. Like I said, you're looking into a camera. There's not a sea of students, a body of students, large or small, looking at you. You have to do this and imagine as if you're doing it to a group of students. So you can use props. You have to intonate. I walked around. I didn't use any props, and I also avoided humor. I avoided humor deliberately, and not just humor because what's funny in Hong Kong is not necessarily funny elsewhere. Humor is contextual as well. It's not universal, so we don't want to come off looking like a jerk or a dork. And I also avoided, what else did I do? I avoided examples. When I teach in Hong Kong at university, I give my students a lot of examples to which they can relate to. So I tell them about things that have happened in Hong Kong or situations that happen in Asia, which